All right, this is Jay Knows Credit with RTIGroupConsulting.com, here to tell you about the top 10 credit mistakes and also how to avoid these traps. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Number one, ignoring your credit report. This is a very, very big thing, and a lot of people I talk to who inquire to me about, getting their credit repaired. I ask them questions, it's basic questions about what's on your credit report, what's negative on your credit report, so I can be able to give you, a good price on repairing your credit, because it might not cost much as you think. And a lot of people never know what's on their credit report. They just always have, well, I think this is on there. I think this is on there. All right. And I'm telling you all, this might seem very basic, but you need to know what's on your credit report on every, with every credit bureau. Okay. Because it might be clean on one, and on another one, you might have a lot of collections or late payments or whatever, and it may not be right. So it's very important that you go and you check these things to make sure that there's not something preventing you from being able to purchase something, even if that's just getting approved for a cell phone, or if somebody stole your identity. So it's very important to keep track of this, especially right now with the Equifax breach, with half the United States population having their credit information taken. All right. So number two is no debt equals good credit. A lot of older people, when I say older, I mean, 30 plus people. There's a lot of people who do not have any established credit. And below this video, I'll post some links where you can get up to $9,000 in available credit without getting any credit inquiries and without having to worry about if you have a good credit score or not. You can get approved for these credit lines. All right. But a lot of people do not have any established credit, any open credit. And not having open credit definitely lowers your score by about 35%. And if you look at, 100% scoring model, 35% is a very, very big portion of that. So even if you don't want to use credit, it's good to have credit available to you. It just looks good to lenders, looks good to anybody, whether you're applying for a credit card, a personal loan, a car, a house. That credit to debt ratio is what's going to be able to give you that better score. All right, as well as length of history. But you want to get some credit established, but we can definitely help you out with that if you so choose to, no matter what your credit score is. All right, we don't want you just getting a lot of debt, nothing like that. But there are a lot of things you can put on credit, just to have it on your credit, just so you can be able to report and have a good standing. All right, number three, paying late or not at all. A lot of people think that paying late is okay. I'll just wait another week or two and I'll pay it then, and I'll, talk to them about it. Even if you talk to, certain creditors about it, they can still report it as late. They may not do anything to you personally. Well, they do, because they can actually do something on your credit report. But you want to make sure that you are paying everything on time. Everything on time. Even if you have to pay on a credit card and turn around and use that credit card again just because you're in a bad situation, you don't want to get that late payment. It's so hard to recover from having a late payment. Of course, we can get late payments off for you here with RTIGroupConsulting.com, but you don't want to get that because it impacts your score. Your score will drop tremendously just having one late payment. I mean, it could be 50 points plus. I've seen it drop tremendously for people just from having one. So make sure you keep things paid on time and make sure you pay whatever's current. Now, I will tell you that if you do have any collections you have, or any judgments, you do not want to pay those. If you do pay those, they will not come off your credit report unless you work with the lender before you pay and you get in writing stating that they will take it off your credit report. They will not. It'll just say paid. Your credit score will not move whatsoever. Okay? So paying these things do not raise your scores. Keep that in mind. You can give us a hit. You can give me a text or a call, and I will definitely help you with that. And by the way, if you do want to call me or text me, I'll give you my number. It's 919-659-8831. And you can call my line or ask me any type of credit question. Or, if you just want help getting started repairing your credit, you definitely can do that as well. All right. Let's go to number 4. Number 4, maxing out your cards using all your credit. All right. You want to keep your credit preferably under a 30% ratio. And there's different people that tell you, 20%, 10%, 5%. All of them are great. But I've just come from personal experience to know if you're keeping it under 30%, that'll definitely give you the best score possible without, you not being able to use any of your credit. All right. But you don't want to max out your cards, because on your credit report, it'll show, what your highest limit has been compared to your highest credit available. Even if you pay it back down after that, they can still see that record. So they'd be like, okay, well, this person cannot manage credit as well. And they'll still give you credit, but they may not give you as much as you want. You might apply for a credit card and you could have possibly got $10,000 credit card, but instead they only gave you $2,000 just because of the fact that you keep maxing out your cards. Okay, so just keep that in mind when you're, utilizing your credit. And if you do want to max it out, you can max it out. Just make sure that before the reporting date, because every credit card has a reporting date, before the reporting date, you pay it back down. Okay, that's just a little small way to get around being able to still do what you need to do to get, however many points you want to get with your card or cash back. Just make sure you pay it before the reporting date. Okay. Number 5, closing unused credit cards. All right, your credit history is another big 30% of your credit score. So if you have any old cards, might be 10, 15 years ago, they could be high interest rate cards or whatever. You can pay them off and then just use them occasionally. But if you close them, that will dramatically hurt your score. Okay, length of history is very, very important when it comes to your credit. So you want to keep any lines of credit that you have that have been open for the longest periods of time. You want to keep those things open, even if something that you're not using. Keep it open anyway. All right, buy one thing a year, one thing every 6 months. Using that card, and then pay it off just to show some active status with that card. All right. Number 6. Making minimum payments. Okay. When you make minimum payments, you're actually going to keep, of course, accruing more interest, and you don't want to keep paying on a credit card forever. All right. So when you're paying more money than you have to, you're actually showing the creditors that you can be able to, use your card, and and you're willing to pay it off faster. All right, but we don't want you to be in a lot of debt here. We want you to get out of debt as fast as possible. So if you go ahead and double down and maybe double up your payments, you can be able to knock out more of that interest. Okay, and even if your card is 0% interest right now, you don't have any interest. Anything can happen. God forbid, you lose your job or anything like that. But just being able to say, okay, well, at least I don't have to pay this credit card, or at least I don't have to, pay as much here and much there. It gives you some peace of mind. So, if you have it, while you have it, pay off these credit cards, pay them off. It'll definitely help you in the long run. All right, number 7, using credit cards like cash. A lot of people, think like, oh, I got $5,000 available, so I can just use as much as I want. And you don't want to use your credit like that. It's okay to use your credit, just to, like I said, build up points, and then you already have the cash available. You can turn around and just pay it off immediately. You just use your card just to be able to get those airline points or get that cash back, and that's totally fine. but you don't want to use it as more like an emergency fund type thing. You just don't want to be using just be spending money, spending money, spending money, spending money, and then you have all this debt accrued. Okay, that's what happens to most Americans. All right, so do not fall into that trap of knowing you have this much money available on your card. Doesn't mean you need to use all of that money, especially if you don't have the income coming in to be able to pay it back. Right? Next thing is getting cash advances. They charge so much money for most companies to get cash advances. All right. Those things can be, highway robbery, and they know people need cash for certain things, like maybe you can't pay your rent. You got to pay that with cash, or you got to pay your utility bill. You got to pay it with a checking account. You can't pay it with your credit card. Forcing you to want to get that cash advance. But I know everybody's situation is different, but if you can help it, you do not want to get cash advances. A lot of credit card companies will have it to where, let's say you have a balance of $1,000 already, and you get a cash advance of $500. So your balance is now $1,500. Okay, you could pay it down to $900 balance, and you're still being charged for that cash advance with some credit card companies, because they don't stop charging you that cash advance fee until you pay the whole entire credit card back off to zero. Okay, there's some that do and there's some that don't. So you got to definitely know that fine print as well if you're forced to get one. Okay, but that can cost you a lot of money. So you're getting the interest on the credit card plus another doubled up interest on the cash advance. Okay, so like I said, use your knowledge on that. And if you have questions about how your credit card does, just give them a call. They'll let you know all the details. All right. Let's see. Number 9, viewing credit as an emergency fund. And I think I already talked about it a little bit. But you just don't want to use your available credit that you have. Just car breaks down or something like that. You want to already have funds for that. Like I said, there's no problem with using that card to get those points and taking your emergency fund money and paying it off immediately. Okay, that's actually very smart to do. It's like getting, something back for what you're spending. Okay. But like I said, you do not want to use that to where you get trapped. You say, oh, I'll just pay it back later, and then you never do it. All right. So you want to make sure that if your income is disrupted, you just don't want to just, start using, credit cards crazy. That's what your regular emergency fund is for. All right. The next one, applying for credit at the wrong time. That's why you have to keep abreast of your credit score. I like to use, Credit Karma as well as Wallet Hub. Wallet Hub updates every day for your TransUnion. Credit Karma updates every week for TransUnion and Equifax. And another great one I like to use is, this one's not free, but it's definitely one of the best ones, is Credit Check Total. And it's like $1 for a free trial. And you can, things like $30 a month. And you get your FICO 8 scores with them with all three bureaus. Okay, and they update every day as well. All right, but if you ever look at your credit through any of those type of places or anywhere else, it'll show the reporting date for every credit card that you have. All right. And after that, or on that, credit reporting day, your scores will update based on whatever happened with that credit card. So if you can pay that balance down on that credit card, if you're about to go purchase a car, or you want to apply for a credit card, you want to make sure those balances are as low as possible before you apply, and make sure your score is as high as possible before you apply.